All right, hi everybody. Welcome to Junzi. I'm Juno,
And I'm Benzie,
and this is a podcast about relationship theory and practice.
the praxis of love.
Okay. So, in this episode, we're talking about our differing and also overlapping relationship theories, values, and practices that we've both engaged in at different times in our life, and also how they've changed over time. So, we will be talking about various forms of non-monogamy, relationship anarchy, the value of friendship.
Relational abundance.
Yeah, totally. Relational abundance. Also, critiques of monogamy. So, expect those things to happen here. So, I thought we could first start with what I think will branch out into a lot of different cool discussion topics is how we both got involved in relationship anarchy, like what that looked like, and our eventual meeting through relationship anarchy. Yeah. And like talking about what relationship anarchy means to each of us as well. Why don't you start us off? How'd you,
Oh, okay.
because
Yeah,
you actually got into relationship anarchy before I did.
that's true and
Yeah.
interesting.
So what
Yes.
was that? What happened?
I had moved to Michigan. I didn't know very many people. I spent some time in a Sunday assembly group, which is like atheist church, and was kind of bored of it. Like I picked the people I liked out of it and wanted more new people. So I went to a polyamory meetup and I don't like bars. So the other thing that was available were these discussion groups on relationship anarchy, which I had never heard of, but it was under this poly umbrella in the space I was in. And when I started going, at first I was like, this is insane. And me and a few of my friends, we would actually go to the meetings and go to lunch afterwards and make fun of how stupid everything was that got said. But then I started to not think it was so stupid. And all of them got bored of going to something they didn't agree with. And I just like ended up falling in love with it. And it really expanded a lot of my values and the way I think about relationships and people. Yeah.
I'm wondering if you tell us what relationship anarchy means to you, or at least what it meant to you, like what you learned it meant when you started getting into that group, however you want to answer the question.
Yeah. The things that really resonated with me that are still alive today is having relationships where everybody can be fully themselves and live in freedom and lean into what is interesting and exciting to them without being constrained by external people's decision making for them. And essentially like a love and let love kind of thing, just like openness and like care and love for each other, but not control. Yeah.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your?
Yeah, I want to. I also have questions about what you said, but
I'm
I'll
sure
go
you
first.
will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. I will start with my understanding of relationship anarchy. I think of relationship anarchy as a framework for approaching relationships that rejects a lot of the social norms of relating that we are often given from society or from like our parents, teachers, whatever. So things like that people should be monogamous, that your romantic partnership should be the most important relationships in your life. So, like a lot of different things. And that there's a huge emphasis within relationship anarchy on trying to eliminate hierarchy, like hierarchical structures, as much as possible to maximize everyone's agency and their possibilities for connection with anyone outside of like the people or person who you're currently intimately connected with. And I definitely think of it as rooted in anarchist thought, like anarchist theory, but I actually don't think you have to be in general an anarchist to practice relationship anarchy. We could talk more about that if we feel like it later, but yeah, and there's so much more I could say about it, but how did I get into relationship anarchy? I was already in a non-monogamous relationships, like a relationship where we had a non-monogamous agreement, understanding that I wanted. I'm the one who initiated that. And my boyfriend at the time had basically a one penis policy for me that
OPP.
yeah, that I did not agree with. And that we had a lot of fights over and discussions about. And I repeatedly said, I do not agree with this. I don't want to have to be limited by this. At that point, I started thinking about it in a very RA, relationship anarchy way before I even knew about RA, which is that my partner, like the person who I'm currently intimate with, doesn't get to decide who I am intimate with outside of him. Like, he doesn't get to choose the gender that is controlling of me, and I get to exercise my own agency by deciding that for myself. And like in RA, a lot of times we call that no third party consent. Like a third party, you should not have to get consent from a third party to do things intimately with anyone else besides them, is what I still currently believe. But anyway, so I read like a very little bit about RA from the resources that were shared on the relationship anarchy meetup that Benzie had already been going to. And then I attended my first meetup and talked about the issue, and I got so much affirmation about it, like that my perspective made sense. And I just like kept going back and engaging with the discussions and learning more about it and learning about its challenge to capitalist individualism and the nuclear family unit and scarcity. And it just became more and more appealing to me over time.
And in that group at the time, I was dating this person who, because Juno just enamored me immediately. And I was talking to this person who was like, I will not continue to date you if you spend time with Juno. And I just was like, yeah, that sucks. Like, there was no planet where I was not going to be with Juno.
Yeah, that person had a grudge with me for, yeah.
Something.
Well, I actually know the whole story. I know why. I know the whole thing. Yeah. Let's just say it reflects quite badly on them, not me. So, yeah. Anyway, I was going to ask you, okay, what are, if you remember, some of the things that you and your friends like made fun of early on after those meetings?
Yeah, it's hard. It was so many years ago now that it's hard for me to remember specifics, but it was probably more the political or like being so anti-label. There was a, because the woman who was running it, very intense person, you know? So it possibly was even for like the intensity level, which didn't make sense to me at the time. But yeah, I really can't remember specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to flesh out a little bit what you mean by tense, I would say that this person who ran it was like always pushing for increasing radicalism. And would you say that was happening? It was part of it, trying to get more and more extreme to push past the boundaries of what we consider normal,
Yeah, I would say that's true.
which, yeah, can either be like really scary for people and intimidating or just look really silly and stupid to people who aren't into it. Why is this
Yeah.
person being so annoying about this?
Yeah, I was like, why do you care so much? What at the time? And that, you know.
Yeah. Like about what other people are doing.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it was being so against what people were doing that didn't make sense. And I actually have all the documents of those discussion groups if we ever want to go through them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that.
I'm sure they're interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, and then I saw Juno and she always wore this jaguar necklace and
The Jaguar head, I still have it.
yeah. And then one time I was like, "Hey, we should go to a coffee shop."
Get lunch. Well, yeah, it was something. You
yeah,
said
but we went to Honest John's.
we went to Honest John's in Detroit, which is great. And then, oh my God, wait, can we just say really quickly how I used the restroom? And I was like fixing my hair or something in the bathroom. And Benzie thought that I had like, did you think that maybe I had left?
Yeah, I thought I had said something that offended you and that maybe you
So
just
funny.
like left. And then that same time, because I get lost a lot while driving, especially in Detroit, and I was taking Juno home and I'd taken the wrong turn so many times. I was like Just so you know, I'm not trying to kidnap you. I just keep getting lost.
I don't remember that. Oh my God, I don't remember that at all. That's so funny.
And you were like, well, I wasn't worried, but now,
Now that you say it, it's like, well, that's exactly what a kidnapper. No.
Yeah.
Do you still consider yourself practicing relationship anarchy?
No, I don't.
Okay, what happened? Tell us the story. Yeah, why not? What was that transition like?
Yeah, what was it like? We had a relationship anarchy global conference, or at least it reached 3 continents of attendees.
Which, yeah, we both were co-organizers of that.
Yes, co-founders and
Sure,
organizers.
yeah, fine.
Yeah. And I had a cancellation experience from that leadership, and it kind of rocked my world at the time. And I do think a big part of it was I was not engaged enough in anarchist politics.
Really?
I think that was a general discontent a lot of people had with me. I got called a right-wing apologist and things like that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just don't remember. I'm not saying it
Okay,
didn't happen.
yeah.
Wait, I'm curious. Just I want to contextualize this a little bit, and then I want you to continue with the story. Was this when I also got angry at you for not wanting the conference, for saying, I don't want to, throw you under the bus, but yeah, for having critiques of the idea of the conference being intersectional? Is that what you were talking about by the cancel campaign?
Yes, I do think that was like the
Okay.
nail in the coffin.
Oh, okay, but that was already happening too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that
I'm
was
just,
like the
trying to-
final thing where it was like official, you know. Yeah.
It is interesting. We can do a separate episode on this. I
Yeah.
guess. But I just want to say, yeah, it is interesting because I have not seen that as a cancellation, and I guess I do wonder how your perspective on that, and
Yeah.
care about that and want to know about that, and maybe I don't know if you want to share now, or we could do that in a different episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I moved away. I joined a lot of other stuff happened, but I joined a circling community, and I found people some monogamous people, straight people, who were engaged in community values in ways that were really important to me. Because when I first moved to Tucson, I was looking for queer relationship anarchist, and I found some, but then when I was putting together mutual aid events and things, the people who were showing up were from circling. And it caused me to really lean into those people in a different way. And it made the relationship anarchy much less important to me. And I came up with the term for myself, relational abundance, that I'm using to describe my relationship values. Yeah.
Oh, would you want to quickly say, just so that people know what you're talking about by circling community?
Yeah. Circling is a relational practice that's associated with authentic relating, communal mindfulness, things like that.
Cool. Yeah, I also love circling. And I'm here in Arizona right now in Tucson with Benzie.
Yeah, doing lots of circling.
Which I'm excited about.
Yeah, we both are facilitators and do a lot of work in that realm as well.
So it sounds like it was more so not necessarily that you started disagreeing with relationship anarchy ideas necessarily, but that you just didn't feel like an allegiance to that label because of the people you were meeting here and the community you started building here.
It was partially I quit being anti a lot of things, pretty attached to relationship anarchy. Also, even before that happened, our Detroit group's attachment to political anarchy and a lot of people's opinion that relationship anarchy belonged to an anarchist made me like, I have no reason to claim this label.
Right, because a lot of people, the majority of the people in that Detroit scene do think that you should be an anarchist in general politically in order to be practicing relationship anarchy in order to use that term.
Which doesn't seem to be the norm everywhere. For like,
it's not.
Most people I met here using that term were like, anarchy, what? So.
But they are into relationship anarchy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think something cool, well, people may think it's cool or horrible, depending on who you are. But something about relationship anarchy is that there are so many different ways to interpret it and to put it into practice. So there can be a lot of infighting between relationship anarchists because of the different values, or not necessarily different values, but like different opinions that people hold about what it should be and like what the boundaries of relationship anarchy are. Yeah. Like the requirements.
That happens in any group, like the criteria. There's always like extremists who want the criteria to be on one end of thing. And then there's like a whole spectrum of people who are still resonating with a label.
Yeah. For me, like I said earlier, don't think that people need to identify as an anarchist in general in order to be using the label relationship anarchy, even though I do see and believe in a strong connection between the two. Like, to me, relationship anarchy is just another way of practicing anarchism, which is inherently social. Like it's a political theory about the wider systems that we live within, but it also can be applied to the interpersonal. And so to me, relationship anarchy is just applying anarchism to the interpersonal and to on a community level, and particularly using it to analyze social norms around romantic relating or sexual relating that a lot of times we don't consider to be political. So it's very much like connected to like the feminist idea of the personal as political. But I don't like being really nitpicky about that. Like, I just don't really care if someone's using the term relationship anarchy or practices these principles in their intimate relationships, but doesn't apply them in a larger sense. Like, I still think it's a good thing that they're practicing relationship anarchy, even if they don't think the state should be abolished, Yeah. And to me, whether or not people are using that term is not the most important thing. I just care and do want to advocate for people to question social norms.
Yeah, I care about that.
Like, I think that's important, and to challenge them is what I would say.
Yeah. I would say I learned so much, and I still hold a lot of the relationship anarchy values really close to my heart.
Like, which ones? Like, what kind?
Yeah, not controlling people.
You sound like irritated or what?
Well, I said it a little bit.
Oh, I do feel like when you originally said it was kind of vague and general. So I thought maybe you could, but maybe you don't have it. Maybe because you're not identifying as a relationship anarchist right now, it's not as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas I have my whole thing. Like, sorry.
For me, maybe one of the biggest ones is this huge focus on community and not inherently prioritizing sexual romantic connections. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah.
I will add, though, just because it's in my mind right now, that because of culture, there is a thing that continues to happen to me, is the people I have sexual romantic connections with are the people who prioritize me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't feel like I have access to control over that. So.
Do you feel like there are any relationships you have that aren't sexual or romantic in which the people do really prioritize you?
Yes.
Other than like your family, like your nuclear family?
Yes, there are.
Okay, cool.
But there are also people who don't have a romantic sexual partner.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So I have a high suspicion
that would continue to happen if they did get a partner. Yeah, because I mean, I would say I also see that trend where that people kind of fall into that. I have so many thoughts on it. Like, part of me is like, oh, is that because of desirability? Like, part of it is that who you really feel like you have a desire for, often like romantically or sexually, is who you kind of, I don't want to say I don't think it's necessarily, is it natural? I don't know. I'm kind of like, that's a question.
Yeah.
But at least, yeah, that is very much emphasized socially for us to do that. But yeah, people tend to want to care for those people more than the people who they desire less in those ways.
Yeah.
Which I do want to challenge that. And I also recognize
Totally.
I can't control if other people do that for me. But I do, yeah, that's interesting. And I also don't necessarily want to always challenge people on that because I don't want to lose the care
Yeah.
either. Like that is always a risk, is that you will then lose that access to that care if they're like, okay, well, I won't prioritize you as much
Yeah.
anymore. It's like, wait, I don't. That is kind of part of the difficulty, I think,
Yeah.
with that. But I try to practice that in my own life, like making sure that I'm, like, in terms of my actions, I do try to make sure that I am prioritizing care for and attention toward people, friends in my life who I don't have romantic or sexual desire for. And I think I have done that. Yeah. I think I've done that pretty well in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Do you feel like as you as the actor are capable of doing that?
Yes, I feel like I do a lot of work and attention towards people I'm not. Well, it is a little hard because though my sexual attraction feels extremely attached to emotional safety. So a lot of these people I'm friends with, I wasn't attracted to them at all initially, but now that we've been friends for years, I feel like I would have no problem kissing or being sexual with any of them. So that's kind of its own thing.
Yeah. Can I say something?
Sure.
I'm realizing when I make a distinction because my understanding of what we're challenging in relationship anarchy is not necessarily prioritizing friendships in which there is sexual attraction or some romantic feelings, which I think within relationship anarchy, those things get to be expanded across
Yeah.
many different kinds of friendships and relationships. So they're detaching romantic feelings and sexuality from this idea of the partner or the primary partner
Yeah.
as being like the most significant person in your life. Typically, we are taught to reserve all of our care and resources for that partner who we're supposed to move up the relationship escalator to marriage with, as opposed to like all of our other friends and community members.
Yeah.
So just wanted to say that.
Yeah. And I guess I do want to give credit. Like, I do feel like the people I spend time with do value community and do a lot of work even when they are in partnerships. What's next on the agenda,
Yeah,
Juno?
I'm going to get into that. So, something that inspired us to do this podcast episode is it seems like maybe we have different perspectives now on monogamy.
Yeah.
And we both come from a relationship anarchy community in the past that was very openly anti-monogamy. Like that
Viciously.
was okay, wow.
It
I guess
was.
you could say that, yeah, like aggressively anti-monogamous for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, I want to say some things about what that looked like.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah.
add to it was anti-couple. Like even
Right,
like,
yeah.
most of polyamory was completely unacceptable.
Right, because of the way that polyamory still often prioritizes a lot of times hierarchy within relationships and just like a romantic couple unit as the most important relationships in one's life.
Yes.
The anti-monogamy in that community would look like just one, really not wanting to hang out with or socialize with anyone who was monogamous or even normative polyamorous
Yeah.
at the time. We definitely had a very tight-knit in-group. I don't want to go too
Extreme.
deep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and we're not very open at all to monogamous people.
Yeah.
We wanted to do things like do some type of direct action where we were protesting or disrupting monogamy in some way and monogamous relationships. Oh my God, yeah, there was the whole thing about couple busting too that we got from
My
one
old
essay.
license plate literally was couple bust. Like I
Yeah.
believed in it deeply.
So yeah, that was like about trying to find ways to disrupt people's coupled relationships, even to the point of like trying to get one of the people to cheat with us. I didn't actively do
directly
that,
them, yeah.
but that was like a theory, like an idea that people were playing with and that some people did engage with. Yeah.
openly mocking people who were like being safe with a partner at parties. That's a thing we would do.
Being safe, like having a secure,
Yeah, I feel like if two
like an
people like
anxiety
sat
buddy.
too long together at a party,
Yeah.
there would be like mocking or intentional disruption of that.
It'd be like suspect, oh, are you like being a couple?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have, yeah, an emotional support
Yeah.
person basically with you.
And lots of like anti-marriage content.
Totally. I mean, I wrote, yeah, I
Yeah,
wrote
yeah.
an anti-marriage scene. I'm still anti the institution of marriage. But anyway, we can get into that. Now, where are we at is what we want to talk about.
Where are we at?
I don't know. I can go first.
Okay.
And then I'd love to hear your perspective.
Sure. Yeah.
I am still really hypercritical of monogamy, the way that it is predominantly practiced. So you could say that I'm still anti-monogamy, but specifically in terms of like hegemonic monogamy, because I think it's extremely rare for people to practice monogamy in a way that I would find non-coercive and to align with my values, which are still relationship anarchy values. I can say more about that.
Can
Yeah, go ahead.
you hegemonic, or what word did you say?
Hegemonic, yeah, it just means the most powerful, authoritative version of so like it's
Okay.
like it has like the
Monogamism.
most power. Yeah, the authority.
Yeah.
Sure, monogamism, like
'Cause
the
I'm
system of monogamy that has the most power in our society.
Yeah, I am anti-monogamism.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What is that? Yeah, so like what does that mean to you to be anti-monogamism? If you want to say more about that.
Yeah, I'm against it being the predominant default looked up to method of relating.
Okay, not to get into I'm not,
Sure,
not to get
sure.
really nitpicky about semantics. You can use monogamism as fine.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
For myself what I would say is like I'm definitely 100% against mono-normativity. So like like monogamy should be considered the most like normal,
Ideal.
healthy, ideal, ethical, truly loving way of relating. Yeah, I guess I would. Yeah, I think I don't like the term monogamism anymore, but you go for it. It's fine. I'm not policing that. I'm really saying that for myself so that I don't do it. I'm reminding myself
Well,
not to
why
do
don't
that.
you like it?
I think I just monogamism. I think I don't like it because mononormativity already existed and I didn't know that at the time. And yeah, but they both mean the same thing. So it's really just such a petty preference I'm realizing as I'm talking about it. Like it really doesn't matter. You get the gist, I feel like. Like you get what I'm
Yeah.
talking
I
about.
guess for me, mononormativity covers it being the norm, which I'm annoyed by. But monogamism to me is the structural upholding and like this huge wheel of producing mononormativity.
I like that. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely, okay, sounds like we're both on the same page about that. We're
Yeah.
both against that. Go ahead. Do you have something to say?
Yeah, I'll say I feel like I agree with many of the things you said of most people doing monogamy could not reach my values. And that feels true for me. I've tried to do a lot of work, especially having so many monogamous friends now, of finding the granular ways that we could engage in community together and what would actually bother me in their monogamy. And for me, one of the most important things of sharing relational abundance with people is that the messages, methods, things I find important can include monogamous people. I felt like it was a limitation of our previous group that people would be like, oh, I can't get anything out of that because I'm monogamous. And also, they don't want me here. And for me, I actually think everything I say for relational abundance would be highly valuable to monogamous people. And the type of monogamy I can most support is where two people have full conviction within themselves that they do not want to have sex with anyone else and that they both do that together. Yeah.
what were you going to say?
Yeah, that's
I think that might align with the version of monogamy. I'm putting monogamy in quotes for that, but the version of monogamy that I think aligns with my values as well, maybe. So I'm going to describe it and I want to see what you think.
sure.
So to me, what this would look like, a truly, to me, ethical monogamy would be,
I love ethical monogamy.
yeah,
It's
instead
so
of
good.
ethical non-monogamy, where we always have to specify that it's ethical, but yeah, we never have to clarify if monogamy is ethical or not.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, to me, an ethical monogamy would be two people who, like you said, at the moment, only have a desire to be sexually involved with or romantically involved with one another, and there's no one else that they have a desire to act on that with. Another part of that for me that has to be present is that if one of them changes their mind, which is, and meets someone who they're feeling like they want to have sex with or are developing romantic feelings for, that they can at any time, without any fear of there being punishment or social repercussions that exist a lot of times for people, to just be like, you know what, I'm no longer monogamous with you. I'm going to go have sex with that person. And it can't be a situation where it's like, you're bad for doing that. If you do that, if you say, oh my God, that is wrong of you to do that, to me, that is still playing into mono-normativity. It's not just an individual action of a person saying that's bad, because we already live in a society in which non-monogamy is routinely punished and seen as lesser than. So to me, that's still playing into the systemic coercion of mononormativity. So it's like, yeah, you just have to always be open to your partner changing their mind at any time and just be like, okay. And to me, I'm like, that's ostensibly monogamous, but not really. So I'm like, yeah.
I guess I have spaciousness, which I imagine you would actually have in that situation, for somebody to be really hurt that something that's been going on for a long time has changed.
I think hurt is different than saying to the person, that's wrong for you to do, and shaming them or guilting them and holding the person responsible for their feelings of hurt. I think that would still not be a very, what I would call, evolved. I know that people are going to be
Yeah.
mad at me for saying evolved, but whatever. Like, yeah, monogamy.
Well, to me, that feels true for literally all communication about hurt.
Well, can you say, what do you mean? What is it? All communication about hurt? What?
Yeah, like somebody does something that hurts your feelings and you tell them they're wrong. Like they're a bad person for doing that.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a really common communication that I don't think it works very well. So to me, I have no reason to attach that to the situation of someone ending a monogamous relationship. Because also monogamous relationships end all the time for all kinds of reasons. And falling in love with someone else is one reason that might happen.
Right.
So someone might break up with someone because they no longer want to have kids or something, you know, and someone could be like, you're fucked up for staying with me.
I do just
So
think
long,
that's like less, I don't think that's as normalized. I don't think that's as much of a systemic issue to me as like monogamy is. This kind of idea that being monogamous is showing someone that you really do love and value them, and doing anything non-monogamous is a way of devaluing them and saying, I don't really care about you. A lot of people consider non-monogamy, even if it's fully consented to and communicated, to still be cheating. They're like, it's cheating.
Sure.
So that is kind of what I want to, that is why I'm pushing so hard against it for me, is I do think it's a pretty strong, it's so socially normalized to blame someone and be like direct anger at them
Yeah.
and social punishment for deciding to want to not just break up with the person, not break up with them necessarily, but be like, I still want to be with you, but I am going to go have sex with this other person now. And that is what, you're a horrible boyfriend or girlfriend or non-binary friend, whatever. Like that is so much the norm. And I'm like, yeah, you can be hurt and angry, but you have to take ownership that those are just your feelings. And there's nothing wrong with somebody still wanting to be in a relationship with you and then also wanting to go have sex with or fall in love with other people, is my perspective.
Yeah. I don't think it's wrong for them to want that, but I want people to be considerate of how their actions are going to impact others and include that in their calculation of how they're going to act.
In terms of going from monogamy to non-monogamy?
Yeah.
What would that look like for you? Like someone calculating?
Yeah, before they went to go have sex with someone else, being on their end prepared that the other person will be like, I don't want to be with you then.
Oh, yeah. I agree with, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely best practice to expect that that person, your partner, whatever, will be really hurt unless there's evidence to the contrary.
Yeah.
And might even be angry, and need to deal with those feelings, and maybe also probably want support from you, maybe, to process those feelings, to still be assured, if they are willing to continue the relationship, to still be assured that you care about them. There's a whole process, I think. And that person still may not want to be with you. They may be like, okay, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore if you're going to have sex with other people. Yeah.
Here's a moment in that process that you and I might disagree on.
Okay, what is it? Excited.
I think if people have a explicit agreement that if somebody has decided that they're going to exit, that they should tell the other person
Beforehand, before they go against the
at
agreement?
least before they have sex with that first person again.
I think that
makes
is
sense.
yeah. I mean, I do feel like I addressed, like, that is the best practice.
Yeah.
Is to talk to the person first and tell them, I'm going to do this. But I don't think it should be like I'm asking you permission.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, don't need people's permission to do things with your own body. But
I just know in the
way.
past we had talked about like, oh, you don't need to tell people if you're going to be with anybody else. Like,
yeah, ideally, I would like to live in a world in which we don't have that expectation of other people, but that would just be a non-monogamous world.
Yeah.
Which, would be ideal to me. But yeah, living in this world where people do have relationships in that way, where they expect people to continue to be monogamous if they have an agreement like that. Yeah, I think it is best to care for people's feelings and to tell them first. I think there are lots of reasons why that doesn't happen that makes sense to me. Mm-hmm. And that I would not therefore consider the person who violated the agreement to be like a bad person or to have necessarily done something wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not ideal. It's not what I want people to do, how I want them to act.
And part of what I mean when I talk about granular practices is that I feel like I could say in general, if somebody makes an explicit agreement with anyone else and then they decide not to engage with that agreement anymore, I do think you should let them know.
I generally do think people should do that. And I think that the context does matter.
Yeah, and I'm not saying if someone doesn't do that they are a bad person. I just mean relational optimizing.
Optimizing? Interesting. I don't like that term. I hate it. I hate the idea of relational optimizing. Whatever that, yeah.
I just said that's the first time I've ever said that.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I don't have deep thoughts behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the way I want the people I'm interacting with to behave.
Yeah, I would like that too. The reason I'm hesitating is because I feel really aware of the way that agreements that we make with people can come from coercion, from systemic coercion, but also from interpersonal coercion, where there's like threats made against someone's ability to get their needs met or access resources or whatever if they don't make that agreement with someone. And so in that case, it's not that I think, the person shouldn't inform the other person that they're not going to adhere to the agreement anymore. It's that sometimes in some contexts, it might be better for that person in order to get their needs met, not to tell the other person. And so I care about people getting their needs met. And if they're cut off from being able to do that because of a coercive agreement that they made, it's like, then their choices are really limited. And it's like, will they face severe social punishment if it comes out that they didn't adhere to the agreement, and so they can't tell the person. So I'm just aware of all these things that happen. And that's why I'm like, well, yeah. But yeah, ideally, I just don't think we live in that ideal world.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I do feel like when I'm trying to come up with how to express my values, they do end up a little bit in a vacuum because that's the only way I could land on anything. Because I don't believe in objective morality or anything. I think everything is contextual in general. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I'd say like the reason why I'm just like continually very staunchly, I don't know if staunchly is the right word for this, but monogamy critical is because like I don't know of anyone, almost anyone, who's practicing monogamy in the way that I described what it would be. People like what monogamy typically looks like in our society is people make an agreement that has rules attached to it for how the other person is allowed to behave, or else they will be punished
Yeah.
and blamed and shamed. And a lot of times that social punishment can look like emotional violence, like emotional abuse, the shaming, being cast as like this bad, horrible person.
Yeah.
It can also be like literally losing your home, access to money and resources, access to health insurance, access to your children, to like possible children. It's like there's all these things that are attached to following the rules of monogamy that is to me coercive.
Totally.
Yeah. And so it's like, I don't know. And there's all this surveillance attached to it too. It's like we have to make sure the other person is following the rules. So it's like, then you have a right to ask the other person who they've been hanging out with all the time, what they were doing, what's the nature of your relationship with this person. It's like constantly trying to control the situation.
Yeah.
So,
I would also say monogamy critical still feels true for me.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that is the term I'd use, monogamy critical.
Yeah, the thing that's important to me is I just really care about being able to communicate openly and deeply with monogamous people in the ways that I do think they could practice communal values.
Yeah. That echoes so much of what I care about too.
Yeah.
I care about people practicing expansive community building and like connection and finding a diversity of ways to get their needs met and to have relationships, even if they are still sexually monogamous,
Yeah.
over them being completely non-monogamous. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because there's lots of ways to practice relationship anarchy values and still be sexually monogamous.
Yeah, there's a woman who I'm close to who is very monogamous, religious, like lots of things that I have difficulty with. And I would say she is one of the closest people in my life here who is open to revealing with all relationships, like what they could possibly, like what a friendship can look like in super granular, beautiful ways. And she's been a huge highlight for me of someone who has deep monogamous values, like no sex before marriage values,
Yeah.
who I just see practicing community and friendship so well. Imagining not having her in my community feels detrimental.
I love that.
And so and I have other examples too. That's just like what really shifted my heart on the topic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really valuable.
Yeah.
And it is detrimental, I think, to subscribe to a theory of relating that would eliminate or cast out, exclude a lot of monogamous people who are wonderful at community organizing.
Yeah.
That is really silly. Or who are like wonderful at contributing to and organizing mutual aid or need to receive mutual aid. Not that we ever blocked a lot of mutual, very like direct material mutual aid from people at that time.
Sure, but people would not find out about stuff because we didn't allow monogamy in the space. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I actually think of like I have a lens with quite a few of my monogamous friends is I just pretend it is oh my God, this feels so edgy to say. I just pretend they're asexual, like in my heart.
What does that mean?
Because then it's like I just interact with them in all the ways I would just interact with an asexual person.
Oh, by not considering them available to you for sex?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like they just will never be that.
That's okay. All right.
Just sometimes because
Interesting.
I sometimes do feel like sad or frustrated that people around me are monogamous.
Yeah.
And it's not really about like me wanting to fuck them, but it's just like, that's a way because a lot of monogamy is the way it limits how connected I can be to somebody.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh, if this person was asexual, that limitation would never frustrate me. Or if it did, I wouldn't judge them for being frustrated.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I want to clarify a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I think I get what you're saying, but when you said that it limits the ways that you can connect with someone, I guess I thought you were going to talk more about that you were referencing all of the emotional ways that are cut off often from, to be able to
Totally.
connect with people who are in monogamous relationships because of the concept of emotional cheating. But you mean specifically sexually.
Yeah, well, because in the community I'm in, my circling community, we're all deeply emotionally intimate
And
all
like
of it
physically.
and cuddly and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're just not kissing and touching each other's genitals.
Okay. Okay.
So to me, it's just, oh yeah, like there's lots of people, even in our Detroit community, who don't like kissing and don't like genitals. So it's just like, oh, it's actually just the same thing. Experientially.
Yeah. I'm glad that helps you deal with it, cope with the harrowing reality of. That's so funny.
Yeah, I think it would be really hard for me to be friends with somebody who's like, have ownership. But, like, I do have some people in my life. But
Who feel like they have ownership of their partner?
yeah.
Okay.
I actually don't know if I do. But
Okay.
I haven't deeply questioned everybody because I know I make monogamous people uncomfortable sometimes. But yeah. I would say most of the people I spend time with are still very open even in their monogamy.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I definitely feel like there are so many things that I think monogamous people can learn from relationship anarchy if they aren't already practicing those things, which is, I think, the idea that, like I said, you can be sexually monogamous for whatever reasons you have. Like for some people, they say it's for sexual health reasons, like not having to worry about that as much, even though, I could have critiques of that as well. But that shouldn't mean that you get to determine who your partner can be emotionally intimate with. We all need emotional intimacy, and we need it from more than one source.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely a human need to have expansive emotional intimacy and connections because that connects us with so many parts of ourselves that we don't necessarily get to connect with one person. It opens you up to all these parts of yourself. Yeah, and I just think more connection we're social beings. More connection is better
Yeah.
than just one. That's very isolationist, I think. But yeah, a lot of people I do think practice monogamy in this way. It's like you're only supposed to get this emotional intimacy for me. And yeah, that's a type of monogamy I can't really fuck with personally. Yeah. Let's see, what else did I was there anything else, or it's almost an hour, so.
Wow. We're so good at talking.
I think we did that. That was all the notes I had. Is there anything else you we did everything.
Okay.
Is there more you'd like to look more?
Well, I guess I'd like to check in with you because I know this topic you wanted to talk about because you knew I wasn't anti-monogamous anymore.
Oh.
And I wonder
if you brought it up originally.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wonder if all this information has made you more comfortable with my shift.
Oh, I wasn't really uncomfortable before.
Oh, okay.
So,
Great.
yeah, that's fine. I feel totally comfortable
Amazing.
with it. I feel like we're on the same page pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so.
Amazing.
We'll see what happens when we go deeper into this idea of cheating, kind of connected to the agreements that we talked about, like making agreements and breaking them. Because our community that we came from, our community in Detroit, was very pro-cheating. And there are still many people who are pro-cheating. And I'm not, what do I want to say about this? At the end of this podcast, sometimes I would say that I am still pro-cheating for very specific reasons.
I would say seduce the lovers of the possessive. I still have that as a cross stitch in my living room.
That sounds like pro-cheating to me.
Maybe, maybe not. Guess you'll have to find out.
All right.
All the nuances.
Yeah, there's lots of nuance to this.
We would love to hear from you guys, your opinions on monogamy, anti-monogamy, the identification of relationship anarchy, and any questions you have for us that we can answer in future episodes.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for watching and or listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.